Man was made for loving that Bible. Don't let the good times pass you by, that is for sure. So let's say hi to who we got here. Hello, Ella. Hello, Andy. Hello, Arlo, and we see Delmy, and we see Riversong, and we see Emery, right? So let's just jump right into it. Let's look at this month's memory verse. Matthew 5:12. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For so they persecuted the prophets who were before you. All this year we've been going through the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 1:5-12 is kind of a memory verse challenge. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at all of them real quickly here. So starting with Matthew 5:1. Seeing the crowds, he went up on the mountain, and when he sat down, his disciples came to him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. And last one, rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For so they persecuted the prophets who were born before you. So we have our challenge. Any of our friends, 5th grade and younger, you have till last Sunday of next month, that if you have this memorized, all 12 of them, you get a nice prize. I've been using the English Standard Version. I know the church likes to use the NIV, and I know there's special Bibles that's kind of written more in the language that our younger friends can understand. Any translation is fine, whichever one works best for you. So, with that, let's take a look at casting lots real quick. So after Judas' betrayal and death, another disciple needed to be named to keep the number at 12. In the book of Acts, Peter suggests to the faithful believers there, after Jesus' rise to heaven, that they be the ones who choose the 12th disciple. They cast lots, and the lot fell on Matthias. We hear this phrase, they cast lots, and I think, are they simply rolling dice, tossing a coin, waiting to see who draws the short straw? Shouldn't they take this more seriously? But as an ancient and beloved tradition, casting lots is a serious way. In Leviticus, the method is used to separate the scapegoat from the goat being sacrificed. In the book of Numbers, it's used to divide the promised land among the Israelites. Even the sailors on Jonah's boat cast lots to figure out who was responsible for the storm at sea. In 1 Chronicles, lots were used to determine who was to receive which temple service. The biblical example with which we are probably most familiar is when the soldiers at the foot of the cross cast lots for Jesus' clothing. This is one of the many examples, though. Lots were also drawn from musicians, gatekeepers, and all sorts of household chores. The Israelites didn't see casting lots as a game of chance either. They saw it as a revelation of God's will. Per the book of Proverbs, the lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord. Casting lots was considered totally fair. In the Bible, we see people of faith casting lots as a way of showing God's will. Casting lots was sacramental. Today, people are quick to think of things as luck, chance, and coincidence, but what if it's instead God's hand at work? How would trusting in the casting of lots change your decision-making? Would it allow you to more easily see God's work in your life? I was in a part of a church one time where the same class people was getting voted over and over again to be the church leaders. So one time they decided just to take names, put them into a hat, call it casting lots. They drew the names out of the hat to see who was going to serve next as leader. So with that, I asked my friends Ansley and Ella if you could come up. I said you've asked opinions for memory verses next year. Should we do it another 12 in a row like we did this year, or should we kind of do the more regular way of doing it randomly? So, with that, what do you think I'm going to develop? We're going to cast lots. So, here we go. So when I tell you to, you're just going to drop on the floor of rolls. Yeah, okay. So here is the rules. How are we going to do this? If they land on, because Mr. Mike is a little on, we are going to do another 12 in a row next year. If they land even, we will do random, just pick out randoms around. If they fall on doubles, because I love Monopoly, I'm going to pick out a few verses that's like 3, 4 in a row, maybe, do it like that. Do you understand the rules? Yes. Do you understand the rules? Yes. You do realize now you are eligible to win, right? It is a preference for winning, right? Okay, so why don't we go ahead and do that? On the count of 3, just go ahead and roll around the floor, please. 1, 2, 3, go. And we have, it's a 10. Let's go random. We will be doing the random. No, we got the decision. Thank you very much. Yay. Okay, with that, let's pray. No, okay. Heavenly Father, help us to leave everything in your hands so we can see everything in the work of your hands. And all God's children say, Amen.